Welcome back to the Empowering Her podcast, everybody. Today, I have such a treat for you and for me because I have my best friend, Michelle Souferian, on the podcast. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Mel.
I can't believe we're doing this. So, in an effort to just keep things real lately, I've really enjoyed having very real conversations that I would just have with my friends when we get on the phone. So I invited Michelle to come and hang out with me, and I'm going to have her introduce you, and then we can go into all the good stuff. And not introduce you. Introduce yourself, Michelle. Don't introduce the audience.
I know what you meant. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to do this with you. So as Mel said, we have been friends for, I don't want to give our ages off here, but gosh, I want to say close to 35 years. We've been friends. We grew up together in Canada. Since that time, I have become a mother to 3 beautiful children, also a wife to an incredible husband. I have been a career woman my whole life. I'm a vice president of operations at a healthcare company. I think for the most part, I'm an only child, by the way, which is another distinction that I kind of identify myself as. And in my own way, I think I've been, searching for my own path, relative to like, what's the right thing for me? Where are my passions? I continue to kind of be on that search and evolution. And so, excited to join you here today and kind of share some of the things I've learned in my short young life.
I love you so much. So that was a beautiful intro. Michelle is one of the smartest.
Oh, stop now.
Literally, don't do that. Don't do that, right? That's like literally what we're going to talk about. One of the smartest and kindest people I know. And I feel so blessed to have grown up with her. Like we have so many stories. And one of the best things, there are two things that happen whenever we see each other. First of all, we can go deep in a second, right, Michelle? Like we'll just start talking and there's no surface stuff. It's like, what's important now? Like, what do I need to share? What do we need to talk about? That's number one. And number two is we laugh our asses off when we are together. Like literally nothing will make us giggle like children. And I often say he's a testament to this. He's heard me ask this question, like, would it be too much if Michelle and I lived in the same city right now? Like, how much fun would we have? The amount that we laugh together, like, you can't replicate that stuff. So Michelle's in Los Angeles. I don't know if you mentioned that. And I'm in New York. So we see each other probably about once a year. But we go right back in there. We go deep and we laugh, and it's just the best thing. And when I asked Michelle what she wants to talk about on this podcast, Mish, what did you say and why?
I said that confidence has many faces, and that's what I would want to talk about, especially since I have 2 young girls and I'm on social media and I'm a working woman and I'm a social person. If there's one thing that I would want to share with like young girls today is that confidence, and when you see a confident woman, there's many different faces to that woman. And so I thought it would be fun for you and I to talk about that.
I love that you say that. There are many different faces to it. And what you said to me when I asked you, what do you want to talk about? You used a very interesting word, which like you just told, it perked me up. I was like, I cannot wait what she has to share on this topic. You said the price of confidence. Like, what is the price of confidence? And I feel like if you asked me that, I could take it in so many different directions, but I'm so curious what you meant as the price of confidence. What is the price of confidence?
Well, let's get to that maybe as the second part. So let's talk about like what does the face of a confident woman look like? So I'm going to ask you that question. I'm going to say, Mel, if we were walking down the street and you were telling me the story, like, Mish, I walked down the street today and I saw a confident woman. Describe her to me. What does she look like? So
It's a really,
give me
really good question. That's a
Yeah.
really, really good question. And honestly, it doesn't have a whole heck of a lot to do with what she looks like. But it's like when you literally, like somebody just exudes an energy of it's like an aura and an energy and someone who's magnetic. So they may be laughing, they may be smiling, but like you look at them and you think to yourself, she is so secure in her own skin. She's so comfortable with who she is. She's not like looking around her for validation. Like she is literally validating herself. That's what I would imagine. Like I'm literally seeing this woman in my mind's eye. And by the way, Michelle and I, we live in homes, we work from home. This is real life. So she's got a dog, I've got a dog. We have phones that go off.
Really, it sounds like I have a nanny who's behind the door. So
No,
just
go
hold.
get the go get the nanny. You see, this is like real life. And so often my editor's like, let's cut this stuff out. And I say, you know what? Why? Let's show people that they can be real and they can do things. You can do things. You can take these actions without everything needing to be perfect. And look at that. She let the nanny in and now she's back with me. So what do you think of my description of a confident woman?
So I heard the word um comfortable. Was that what you said?
Yeah, comfortable in her own skin, exudes just an energy of knowing herself and not needing anyone to tell her that she's beautiful or that she's smart, but she's just owning that in the way that she's coming across and the way that she behaves.
Mhm. So think about all the adjectives you just used to describe her. And what if I said that a woman who is confident is also sad,
Mm-hmm.
also doubts, she also has fears, she also is apprehensive about, her decisions at times. And so, I see this world that we live in that we've kind of like created this, I don't know what the right word is, but like this notion that like perfection, whether it's the filters we use, to describe ourselves, or, whatever it might be, to, you know, just there's a portrayal around a woman is who's confident is all of these positive things. But I think what we miss is that if we were to look, like if I asked you, take a list of all the confident women that you know in your life, Mel, and you were to interview those people, they tell you that they're sad at times, they're scared, they're fearful, they have doubts, they don't know. Oh, they don't always have the answer. They don't always even want to be the person who has the answer. They don't like the stress of being that person who exudes this confidence, and people come to and say, well, can you like direct or tell me what the right thing is? And so I just think it's really important that for women these days, or young girls these days, to understand that you can be confident and be scared.
Mm-hmm.
You can be confident and be sad. You can be confident and be, fearful. Um, and I know I'm not speaking about a woman right now, but, I'm reading this biography on Steve Jobs. And, by all accounts in the industry, he's a guy who's known to be ridiculously confident. But I was really surprised to see that in many instances he would break down, he would cry, he would, at the smallest things that, I'll be honest, I don't think I would have even done. And so I think understanding, like, it's not that someone who's confident doesn't, like, it's, they're not 100% that way all the time. And what we see a lot of the times is just what we want to see. It's
Mm.
just her walking down the street. It's her putting a post up. It's her, putting messages. Well, look, I was here and I was there and I was doing this and I was doing that. And you walk past her in the schoolyard and she didn't wave or smile, or she just exuded this certain confidence. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like we don't get to see the person who's struggling behind that confidence. And so just, you know, if there's a message to be taken from this conversation, it's, you know, don't think that because this woman in your life has confidence, that she doesn't have fears, that she doesn't have insecurities, that she doesn't have all these other moments where she's, questioning herself. She's confident and she's these other things. The difference is that she doesn't linger in those spaces, I feel, and she's quick to realize and just give herself the time and space to be fearful, to be angry, to be all of these other things, and then come back to, okay, I'm going to keep going forward. And that's what makes her confident. But it's not that she doesn't have these experiences. It's not that she doesn't have these feelings. It's not that she doesn't go through all this. It's that she does, and she decides to wake up tomorrow and go against those fears again and try again and to make the mistakes and to put herself out there and to, be a subject of criticism and whatever else. So I just, I hope that's something that our young girls walk away with.
Wow. That's so like, I love how you did that. I love how you set me up. Like, I love that. I love that you asked me the question and then you set me up, because it's true. Like, how permissive is it what you're saying? You're giving people permission, like, to, like, yeah, why should we define confidence by just that woman that I described, number one? And number two things can be true at the same time. 10 things can be true at the same time, right? I can be confident, but I can also be sad. I can be confident and I can also be angry. And so I think that like when we say it that way, we can all connect to this idea of being a confident woman, right? I'm just thinking about myself. I was just at a trade show in Chicago, as you know, for the family business. We do this once a year. And two things were true at the same time. Okay. I was being a confident woman. I was standing in my power. I was answering questions. I was showing up in a confident way. But I was also, there are a few things marinating in my brain. I had just received some news that, that's put me in a bit of a tailspin. I'm scared. I was thinking about something one of my daughters is dealing with also. So all of those things can be true at the same time. It doesn't take away from me being a confident woman. And that's important for everyone to know, like, see yourselves in this, see yourselves in this. And what I'd like to know is you are talking about this woman and you keep saying she, and you're giving us all these examples. Are you talking about yourself? Is that you in the examples?
No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think, I've been told in my life that people perceive me as being confident. And it's funny because I laugh a lot of times when I hear this, like, you're so confident. How do you have, I don't think I'm that. So that's funny, like,
Wow.
I don't think that I'm that person. In fact, there's someone that I know that I like, if someone were to say to me, she's just a mom that I know, like, and I had to describe this confident person, I'd say, go speak to her. She's confident. But that's my point, is that we all see something different. And even the person that I see as the confident person, I know that there's a moment that I don't see her and she's crying. I don't see her and she's doubting herself. I don't see her in that moment and, she thinks she can't go on. I don't see her and, she doesn't have the answer. So for all the times that I see her, she's confident, but I also know that there are thousands of moments in time that I don't see her and she's not that way.
Right.
I think it's like, knowing that there's no, like you said, it's not that you're just one thing. You're not just confident. You have other emotions that come up. And so anyway, we, to your point earlier about having a price, I think, for those women who, again, they have a certain sense of bravery. They're willing to take the odds. They're willing to put themselves out there. They're willing to, kind of be that confident woman that we talk about. There is a price to pay. People are shy around confident people. People are intimidated sometimes by confident people. People are people make judgments about confident people.
Especially
They
as women, right? Like
oh,
a confident woman is often called a bitch, you
that's right.
know,
That's
for showing behaviors that men show all the time, and they're never called anything negative at all about it. They're seen as leaders.
That's right. And in the working world, I see that even more, right? And I feel like, you know, I've mentored a few people like in my life and in my career and outside my career, like family members, and I'm very proud like of the stuff that we've done with that. In terms of like, seeing there's a handful of people that, if tomorrow I passed, I'd be like, oh my God, I positively affected the course of these people's lives. Like I actually had an impact on the direction in which they went. And when I think about those 5 people, um, the one advice I gave all of them is that if you want, and if you are this type of person that is going to be bold, is going to take steps, is going to, be a shaker and mover in what you're doing, then expect people to get shaken and moved by what you're doing. It can't be one without the other. So you can't be bold, you can't be confident, you can't take those steps. And then I'm not saying it always happens. So don't take me wrong that, you got to be out there like, look at me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's scary to be in that position of saying, you know what, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to be confident in my decision. I'm going to plow forward. Because sometimes people just don't know what to do with that. And so if you're seeing that the people around you don't know what to do with it, it's almost validation that you're doing the right thing. I don't know how else to express it, but if you're creating ripples in the tide, then know that there's a big wave coming and you're the one who's creating that wave. Those ripples are good in your life,
Right.
but they're also scary because it's coming.
Yeah.
And people are going to be intimidated, people are going to be threatened, all this other stuff. So, I just feel like understand that, sometimes as especially women, if you're a confident woman, that there is sometimes, you might be like, damn it, why did I take that move? Why was I confident in that moment? I shouldn't have done that. I pissed this person off. I really upset this one. Whatever it might be, right? Like you start to doubt yourself. That's part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Is part of the journey. That
Mm-hmm.
is part of the, I don't want to call it price, actually. I don't like that because it implies like a consequence. But there is another side to this, and you have to be willing to accept that side and say, I will take all of that along with everything else and,
Mm-hmm.
forge for. I hope that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. I definitely feel you about the whole second guessing yourself. Like, should I have done that? Should I have not? But in moments like that, I always ask myself, like, did I speak with integrity? Did I come from a place of kindness? And if the answer to those two questions are yes, then I really like take myself out of that, dwelling, because I would have done it again. We can be confident and kind. We can be confident and have integrity.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not mutually exclusive things,
Right.
it and understand that, and I'm sure, and I know this, Mel, because I know who you are and I know your insides and out. I've seen you in so many instances, far more than me, far more than me, be considerate and kind and thoughtful and respectful about the other person's potential feeling around some decision you're making. And the backlash of that has sometimes been that people don't always appreciate all the thought and what you're putting into it. And so you're kind of sitting there like, well, wait a minute. I agonized over this for days and weeks. And, you're upset with me still? Like, how else could I have done this? And and at sometimes I also think like we have to look at, it's not us. It's not us.
Right.
Like, I'm so, maybe not the popular thing to say, but like, to your point, if you've done all those things, if you've agonized, if you've rationalized, if you've looked and made sure you're coming from a place of kindness and your intentions are in the right place, and even if you falter in your delivery, right? Like maybe you faltered, maybe you used the wrong word, maybe you emphasize something more than you should have. I always tell my husband and my kids, look at the person's intention.
Mhm.
Don't get caught up in, if I asked you, was the person's intention good or bad, and you say good, then the rest of it is junk.
Right.
Don't focus on that. That has no place here.
Yeah.
So
That's a very important distinction.
yeah, and you don't know people's background and history and everything else, so they might be sensitive because someone by the name of Michelle bullied them when they were a
Right.
kid, or there
Right.
might be an aversion to me, and I have brown hair, and I don't
Right.
know, whatever
Right.
it might. So you can't control that, but what you can control and what you do know is your intention. And if your intention is pure, if your intention is right, go forward. Be
Hmm.
okay. It's
Hmm.
okay, you
You
know?
said, you said something important there. You said pay attention to the intention. And that's something I say very often too. But your perception of somebody else's intention is your perception still.
Correct.
Right. So we need to own our perception of their intention. Number one, we can't like we'll never know what it feels like to be in their mind or in their heart or in their body. So we need to own the parts that we can own, and that's our perception and our intention. So I love that you said that.
Well, well, and Mel, to that point, you're right. Like it's ultimately our perception. But like, I know who you are. I know how you see the world. And I think I'm honestly speaking for most human beings. And I know what I'm about to say is like, geez, that's a far stretch. Can you really tell me that you look, not you, but people look at other people and they're like, for the most part, their intentions are crap. They're evil. They're really bad. I mean, do you really look at people I don't, I know I don't,
I hope not. That would be a
but
really scary world to live in.
that's what I mean. And that's why I'm saying, like, even when, like, if you just take it down to the bare bones and you look at someone who has hurt you or has said something that upset you, and believe me, I've been in those situations. Like, I'm no saint. I've gotten angry at people. I've, needed my time to process and digest and, heal my wounds and come back. But I would always come back to the question that would always calm me is, was their intention good or bad? And I have to tell you, 9 out of 10 times when I strip away everything else, I come back to the intention was good.
Good. That's a world I want to dwell in. Right. And what do I always say? One of the things, like, the people who trigger us, the people who hurt us, I think
Mhm.
of this, I think of Oprah Winfrey one time talking about like somebody that she wronged and somebody that wronged her. And she had been like dwelling on what this person had done for years and years and years. And then one day she's like, I was driving on Michigan Avenue and I saw this person out there. They were having the best time of their lives. They weren't thinking about me and what they had done to me. Like they were moving on with their lives. And here I was holding on to this anger. And I always thought that was such a special moment. Like for me personally, hearing that just on the power of forgiveness, that's number one. I don't know why I went there, but what I was saying is one of my favorite quotes is see the light in others and treat them as if that's all you see. So like, kind of like what you're saying also, like, I feel like it's in the same vein. It's like, with the good people or with the people, the 1 out of 10 times where you feel like the intention wasn't pure or wasn't kind, how do we move forward now? Are we going to be angry with them? Are we going to, harbor this resentment forever that's only going to harm us? Or in our interactions with them, are we going to see the good in them? Right. That's number one. And number two, another quote that I've really loved recently. I don't know where I read it, but it was something about respond only to love and then see what happens in your life. I'm like, I'm just paraphrasing it, but like, what would happen if we only responded to love, right? Anything else that anyone sent out to us, we didn't respond to, but we just respond to the love. And that's very similar to that Wayne Dyer quote that I'm always quoting everywhere: see the light in others and treat them as if that's all you see.
Yeah, I'm always very careful about, like, I don't I don't want to paint kumbaya, like, meaning, you know, Mel and I talk shit all the time. Like, we're not sitting here saying like, "Oh, look at everyone and everyone is amazing and everyone is, good." I'm just saying, like,
But
everyone has
we get real, like about the real circumstances of our lives. Like we're not going to sit and publicize whatever is happening, but we talk about real things and real issues
to.
in each of our lives. No
We
doubt,
do.
of
We
course.
do. No, but what I'm trying to say is, like, if, anyone's watching this, or when they watch this, oh, come on, Michelle and Melody, are you guys really telling us, like, you always see everyone as amazing and like no one bugs you and everything? No, I'm not saying that. Like, yes, like Mel said, I get triggered, things happen. We don't walk around with butterflies and rainbows around us thinking everyone and we're living in utopia and all of that. I'm just saying, in those moments and in those instances where we get triggered, where something starts to hurt, where we can't sleep at night with those things, if you go back to the question we just said about intention, in those moments, I'm not. And then for the rest of it, where we get, just the day-to-day stuff that just kind of annoys us and pisses us off or whatever, I think that's part of the journey. I think those are the little mirrors. A lot of time I've heard someone say, the things you don't like in other people are qualities in yourself you'd like to change, which always scares me because sometimes I really don't like. I'm like, oh my God, is that who
Is
I
that
am?
me? What's
I know.
going on?
But and I don't know if it's coming with my age. I don't know, but I've really come to see that all of these people are part of something that I am supposed to learn. And, like Wayne Dyer is for you, this movie, I think about this movie every day of my life, and it's Slumdog Millionaire. Because every day this is happening to us. Every day there is a grand prize. Every day. Every day the grand prize is out there, whatever that grand prize is for each of us. And every day there's something that's happening, some incident, some circumstance, some moment that is leading us to that grand prize. You don't know what it is, but if you think about all the things, if you just look at that film, those moments were not great moments in his life. Those were like the most challenging times of his life that got him to this final place. That's how life is. That's how life is. It's those moments that are part of the journey to this grand place. So, I recently had something happen that really, really rattled me, broke my confidence down, really made me question who I was, how I was being perceived. A lot of these, questions and doubts in my mind. And I just feel like the one thing that would help me sleep at night is I knew what my intention was. I knew the place in which I was coming from. And I also knew I had some work to do to repair the relationships that I might have, upset or altered or whatever else. Again, that's all part of the process. You're not perfect. You're going to piss people off. People are going to piss you off. Just learn from it and go on,
Yeah.
go on.
And I really love as you're sharing that example, like you're not saying it in like a blamey kind of way. Like you're not blaming anyone. right? Like you said, this
Blaming
is
myself.
well,
I am.
well, I don't even want to use the word blame, because the way that that came across to me is that you were taking responsibility for the parts of this interaction that were yours, right? So I don't like, I feel like blame has such a low energy and low vibe, and makes you feel like you've
Yeah.
done something very wrong. But when you can take ownership, then it brings the solution that much closer to you.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And so, I'm not going to lie. I think part of what created that problem was the fact that I am perceived as someone who is confident and has deadlines and wants to push forward and wants to make things happen. And honestly, I'm not going to apologize for being her.
Right.
I refuse to apologize to be her. Like, I look at her and I'm like, dang, I'm proud of that bitch.
Yeah. I'm proud of her too.
But I recognize that she's not everyone's flavor, and that there is room to modify her, to make her more palatable to everybody else and not such a threat and everything. So, there's a compromise there. I have to do some work, and the rest is really up to the other people, like, because I'm not going to change that part of pushing and forging forward. So
And I'm so glad to hear that. You can't. Like you can't. That's like changing the essence of who you are. Can't do
that's right.
that. But you can look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, what part of this is mine? And again, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, so it's hard for me to, and that's fine, but I appreciate that. And when we were talking about, and again, like Michelle and I really didn't discuss this topic before we came live. I was like, let's just have a real ass conversation. But in my mind, of course, when you said that the topic is going to be the price of confidence, I was asking myself, what does that mean to me? And one of the things that came up was like, the price of confidence is that we are going to attract certain people towards us. And this is all in the vein of what you just said, really. We're going to attract certain people towards us because like attracts like. And there are certain people who might be repelled by us or won't want what we're dishing out, whatever that may be. And that's okay too. But to me, that's one of the prices of confidence. And again, when I speak of that confidence, I'm not speaking of it in the way that I described right at the beginning of this podcast, where it's that woman who's got it all going on and she's just like vibrating at such a high energy. Yes, it's a beautiful goal to feel that way most of the time, but I'm talking about the very real woman who's multifaceted and has different, internal family systems. We all have these different parts to us. So we may lose some people along the way, right? And that's okay.
That is okay. And I know it's difficult, and I know it's hard, and I know it's painful, and that's part of, like, I don't know how to say it, but like, there's a cost. There's a cost to it, you guys. It doesn't come without a cost. Look, there's a cost for not putting yourself out there. Let's be honest.
I was literally just going to say that there's also a cost to not going out there and forging ahead and being who you're here to be.
That's right. And so, you know, pick your poison.
Yeah.
Do you want to be on the side of this that didn't put themselves out there and didn't deal with the consequences of losing people, pissing people off, being perceived as a bitch, doing whatever, but most likely getting the outcome you wanted in terms of like what you were trying to achieve? Or is it, I'm gonna not say anything, not do, not ruffle feathers, not, I don't, and not believe in myself, and then just see how life unfolds for you. And I know I'm going to screw up this quote, but there's this quote by Tony Robbins about life is happening for you, not to you. Did I get that right? Or is it the other way around?
You got it totally right. Yep. It's happening for you.
That's right. And so, this is your life. There's someone I know who, you know, I love her. She consistently like tells me, I don't know how you do it, like this, that, you work, you 3 kids, you're not tired, you always, and a part of me is sitting there, I'm like, and I've said this like multiple times. I said, you can do this. Like, I don't know why you think that this is just me. It's within everyone's reach. It's just a matter of whether you want to do it, you know? And you once said to me, you said, Mish, we need to stop saying we don't have time. This has become the excuse for a lot of things. I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. It's about prioritizing what you want to get done in that time. And that's a really difficult mirror to look at and ask that question of. I'm the first to say, I wish I prioritized working out, because it really would help my physical condition, but I don't. And every day, what do I say to myself? I don't have the time. Lately, I just tell myself, nope, you're just choosing to be lazy.
Yeah.
So let's get real, Michelle. That's what it is. Because if you wanted to prioritize this, because that's who you are, and you wanted something to get done, you'd get it done, but you're just not. So stop.
It's just not your priority.
That's it. But that's a really not hard, but that's a harder thing to accept than the excuse of, I don't have the time, or the excuse of, I don't know how you do it. You just put 2 feet forward and you do it, and you stumble and you fail and you get upset and you lose and you cry and you get angry and you scream at your kids and you treat your husband poorly, and then you guess what? And then you wake up the next day and you fix all the things that you did wrong the prior day, and then you do it again and again and again and again. And it's just not giving up. Just keep going and recognize that you will falter, that you'll have your bad moments, and that's okay.
We all do. Yep. I'm with you. I'm so with you. I have 2 questions that I want to close out with, but before I do, is there anything else you want to share on this topic, or any topic really? Like, we're here together. We've got a platform. We've got a lot of women listening. Anything that you want them to know?
I'm about to hate what I'm about to say. Like, I hate what's about to come out of my mouth, but you walk around and you see these bumper stickers and all this, again, kumbaya around believe in yourself. And it used to piss me off, like, when I'd see these words like believe in yourself. Like, of course I believe in myself, but like, did I don't know. I think what's meant by this notion of believing in yourself is what we just described. It's not that you wake up every day knowing that you're going to be perfect and you're going to be the confident, it's believing that you're going to falter, but that you still have what it takes to wake up the next day and make it better. That's what it means to believe in yourself. It's not just this, yeah. And I used to think that. And as I've, kind of gotten older in my life, I'm still young, but as I've gotten older in my life, I think I've come to understand that term means being okay with the journey, being like, all right, I got it wrong today. Tomorrow I'm going to try again. All right, I did it better today. I can try again tomorrow. It's just the willingness to do it again and again and again. That's the believe part, guys. It's not the everyday. I don't know how to describe it. So anyways, hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, it's interesting that it was triggering to you, like hearing things like that, right? Like that's the stuff I crave and I love, but like I get how that can be triggering. And I guess the real message is like just believe in your capacity to get up again, like to have a quicker comeback rate, to falter and wake up the next morning and try again, right? Like this is what progression and evolution actually look like. It's a series of failures that don't need to be like, I think we need to redefine the word failure, because failure is always actually giving you feedback and information. And then we try again and we learn and we grow, even if it's just a little bit, right? So,
what if we changed it, Mel? What if it's not, I don't think there's someone, I mean, no, that's not true. There are people who definitely don't believe in themselves, but the problem I've always had with that is, help me understand what that means. Like, what does it mean? Like, I think I'm a good person. I think I'm a decent mom. I think I'm a a good wife. I think I'm, a good daughter. Like, what are the boxes I need to check to say I believe in myself? It was very hard for me to
Yeah.
understand what, if we rephrased it, if we said, believe in your ability to fail and get back up again. And I would use the word fail. Don't be afraid of the word
Well,
fail.
that's what I'm saying. Failure's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing when we can actually really look at it. And it's proof that you're trying.
Yes. 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 That's, if someone, I'm glad we're talking about this. If someone said, what does it mean to believe in yourself? That's what I would tell them. I would say, believe that you can fail and get back up again. That's believing in yourself. That's the definition to me.
Can you please create some new bumper stickers? That needs to happen.
Or make them popular and make me millions.
Yes, yes. Just one of your many business ideas, by the way. Michelle's thought of some of the coolest business ideas that are actually out there in the world right now.
But she doesn't do any of them.
That's a whole other conversation. I feel like there are two conversations you need to come back for. One is like not being afraid to try something and believing in like the vision that you have for a business idea. And the second one is age, because I heard you say a few times, I'm young. And it's like, okay, what is this freaking obsession, myself included, that we all have with youth? And I want to talk more and more about it, because as I get older, as I age, and as I mature, it's a conversation that I want to have. So that's 2 more episodes that you're going to be coming back for. So what do you think that little Michelle and Melody would think of us two right now, sitting here having this conversation, where we're at in our lives?
First of all, I think they'd be really proud. Think that I think they'd be proud of the fact that we maintain this relationship after 35 years, that we made an effort despite us moving literally across country from speak every day, we text every day, we make the effort to be in each other's lives, albeit Mel does it more because she loves California and I love New York. We just never get out there, but I think they would be proud of the fact that we maintain this. And I think that, what we've created in our family life, and, I tell you this all the time, and I know you think that it's because I'm your lifelong friend, but like, people talk about changing the world, you're changing the world. Like, how many people wake up? Like, I can't, like tomorrow, I can't say, well, with what I did at work today, I changed the world. You are actually doing this. Like, the stuff that's pie in the sky for all of us, you're doing. And so, I just look at you and I'm like, Jesus, she's speaking to women like in parts of Africa and South America and parts of the world, that when I see your, where you have a new instructor, I'm like, I didn't even know this was a country. I didn't even know this was a place. Like, I didn't even know this was on the map. And you're like just reaching so many people. I'm just so, I'm proud that I'm your friend. Like, wow, boy, did I score. Like, I won the ticket, everyone. But yeah, that's what I think. And I think they'd be proud that we still have fun. We still know how to have fun and laugh till our stomach hurts, and sometimes pee in our pants.
Literally. Thank you for what you just said. That means so much to me. You are definitely part of that journey that led me to this place. And I find it so fascinating that I asked you the question, and it was so much easier for you, and appreciative. Like, it's a testament to who you are to share about an accomplishment of mine. And now I'm going to throw it back to you. What are you proud of, little Michelle? Like, little Michelle looking at you right now as this powerhouse, incredible, kind, brilliant woman. Like, what would she have to say? You like my leading question? Like, I'm giving all the adjectives, like all the things that I want little Michelle to see in you.
I I think she'd be proud of her as a mom. Like, I think she would look at her and be like, you're doing well. Um, I think that I think that she'd love the aspects of her that make other people feel good. You know, I pride myself on, if I see someone who's not smiling, to stop and, like, can I do something to make them smile? Can I make them laugh? Like, it's really a joy of mine in life.
And such
Um,
a gift of yours.
Thank you. But it's because it makes me happy, you know? I love making people happy, or being part of their joy, not making them happy, but just bringing joy. And you know, I think the fact that she's been scared so many times in her life, like a ridiculous amount of fear, like I can count on one hand, like moments where, like, I didn't think I could make it, or like this was too overwhelming, that I did, that I did make it, that I did overcome, that I did go through that hell and back, and forge forward, that I could have taken the road that was more difficult, and really not succeed and falter, and you know, get into bad things and a bad place in my life, you know, like those were paths in my life. I could have been in a place where was, you know, just wrong path, wrong decisions, wrong way. You know, and I didn't. Somehow, I never, thank God, I never even saw that path in my life. But I know that it's because I chose differently. I chose people like Melody in my life. I chose her family to be in my life. Some of the, I chose my husband to be in my life, and his family, and how they support me. And, you know, the friends and the people that are around me, I chose those people. And I'm really proud of the choices I made. Like, those people are the best choices. And I'm proud of that.
Mm.
And I think little Michelle would be proud of that.
I'm so proud of you for that. It really was a series of choices, like your life by design. You designed this. That's a really proud place to look from, really, truly. So I'm so with you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud to have you as my friend. And you know, I want more of you in my life. And I love that this podcast was one way of making that happen. My final question to you, Michelle, if you could speak to your 8-year-old self, what would you tell her? This is a question we ask everyone on the podcast.
I would tell her not to be afraid of her own voice. And I would tell her, and this is something I'm trying to instill in my daughters, I think instinct is one of the most overlooked qualities that make a woman so incredible. And trusting your instincts and trusting that voice. And it's something I struggle with today. And I have a little contest going on in my mind where you know, I say, okay, I trusted my instinct today. Did it lead me to a good place? Yes or no? And then I test it out tomorrow again, and to see, like, how well is the instinct working for me? And I have to say 10 out of 10, the instinct is right. But it's funny that even though those are the outcomes, I still question the instinct. So why is that? What is that about? So I just, you know, I think it's part of, like, you know, really trusting and believing in your own voice again, that voice, even if the outcome of the decision you make, you trusted your instinct, you made the decision, you're like, crap, wrong decision. I assure you that that decision was right for you. And I can't explain it, but I know if I track that decision 20 years, it was the right decision, because it's from your instinct. So You just have to like, and it's crazy because I know this and I still question my instinct.
Yeah,
Why? I don't know.
I do. But that's
So
like a whole other conversation. But like to sum it up, I think that as girls, we weren't taught about our instincts and our intuition. And so we second guessed ourselves a lot. And this is part of my work in the world, is to introduce girls to that intuition as well from a young age, because it serves them in such immaculate ways. But to answer your question, I really do believe it's the way that girls are raised. And there's the third podcast that we need to come back for and discuss. But I've loved every moment of this conversation. It always just flows and comes so naturally to us, having these real conversations. And I'm just so grateful for you and for your friendship, and for everything that you have brought to my life. It's immeasurable. I could never sum it up here into words, but it's a feeling.
I love you. I love you more than you know.
Love you so much.
Okay, my beauty. Talk soon.